Hi everyone, it's Jasmine, Bad Jazz, coming back at you with more heat. You're probably wondering, what's she up to today? Today is not a makeup tutorial actually. I just did not want to put makeup on for the first part of this video because I am going to be bleaching my hair right now. People ask all the time, how do you bleach your hair at home? How do you keep your colors going? Do you do it yourself? Yes, I do, because I am a professional. I went to beauty school right after high school, was doing hair for 4 years, and I have mastered pretty much how to bleach hair as safely and as healthy as possible. I was always nervous about, giving advice to the general public because I did not want to be held accountable for anyone fucking up their hair at home. But then again, do it at your own risk. Again, I repeat,
do it at your own risk.
Questions that I get are coming from different people who obviously have different textures, have different history with their hair. That is something to consider. I always do a treatment, a moisturizing treatment. I love Moisture Recovery by Joico is a very nice treatment to have just on hand. So right now, just so you guys know my hair's history before I get started, at the very ends, now my hair is not that long. I just had to shave it again due to me not really caring for my hair this past grow out process. I was like bleaching it once a week and I was not, I just wasn't making smart choices with aftercare. So you can see that my hair is just a little bit lighter than my natural color. It is coming back at the roots at this point, but the very tips are just a little bit lighter because they have been previously bleached. So what you'll need to get started is a mirror, a brush, a bowl, lightener, aka bleach, and 30 volume developer, which is what I'm using. The products that I'm using are only found in Cosmoprof, which is a cosmetology store. You do have to be licensed to go inside and purchase any products, but I would recommend you guys to go get your items off of Amazon or Sally's. So as I'm mixing the bleach together, I'm looking for that perfect consistency. I'm used to comparing it almost to icing on a cake because you don't want it to be too thick or too runny. You want it to be right in between. That's going to make it easier to navigate, and that's going to also make it the perfect consistency to process the best way that you want it to. And when I start, I always start at the top middle part of my head, and I will work my way around my head, starting on the sides, around my hairline, then going behind the ears, and then making my way to the back of my head. Now, I do all of this at a pretty quick pace because I'm used to it, but you do want to make sure that you are moving as quickly as you can because you do not want certain parts of your head to be processing quicker than the other parts of your head. You want everything to be nice and even. My scalp is on fire! I'm just kidding. It's already starting to lift though. If you can look closely, maybe you can't see it, but I'm gonna put this cap on and this is going to lock in the heat that's coming from my scalp, and it's going to warm up the bleach and actually make it work faster. I use a 30 volume developer to make sure that it lifts pretty high. The higher you go on developer, it is going to work faster, bleach or color, and it's also going to lift more. You don't want to scratch your scalp. I usually say like 3 days, 2 days before your bleaching service if you are going directly on the scalp, because it's just like a relaxer. I know I have some girls out there that have flashbacks like myself of having scabs across your scalp from getting relaxers and scratching your head right before your appointment. Your scalp will thank you in advance, because even now I'll tend to have like certain spots that will tingle a little bit, but I'll thug it out and it'll just be a little bit sensitive. So just make sure that you're being very conscious. Make sure you're being very conscious about the way that your scalp feels. If it becomes unbearable, obviously rinse your scalp and rinse out the bleach, because you do not want to burn your head. You do not want to disintegrate your fucking brain. So yourself a favor and rinse it if it starts to become unbearable. If you feel a tingling sensation, normal. If you feel a burning sensation, believe it or not, pretty normal. It's going to feel kind of like your scalp is slowly like cooking, and that sounds worse than what it is. But if you have bleached your hair before, had a relaxer or any type of chemical on your head before, it feels like a chemical. You know, it's not going to feel like you just put like shampoo in your hair. It's not going to feel like, you know, even with certain shampoos, it is invigorating and it alters the way that your scalp feels. So it's normal to have your scalp feel invigorated or slowly cooked. With the 30 volume developer, I have waited about max 40 minutes. And at the 30-minute mark, I will go ahead and check, just because it depends. Sometimes it lifts really well. Some days might have to keep it on just a little bit longer, but you don't want to overdo it. Never go over an hour with bleach. And if you do need to re-bleach, you need to rinse and reapply. Do not just leave it sitting, because that is not recommended. But what I did though, just as little tips for when you are bleaching the scalp directly, you don't have any hair to hide mistakes. So you really want to go back over like 2-3 times if you need to, and double check. Have a mirror. I had to finish the back side of my head because I'm not used to not being in front of a mirror and doing my hair. Take a mirror and look into another mirror. Find yourself in the mirror behind you, or vice versa. Look in the mirror and then hold the handheld behind you. And you need to look and make sure that everything is touched. Every hair, every crevice behind your ear is touched. Don't put it directly on the skin, obviously, other than the baby hair areas and the hairline. But you do want to make sure that every single hair doesn't go unnoticed or missed, because if you do, it will show, especially if you are going from your dark natural color to a bright blonde. I don't know how many times I've also just had my little pity mistakes of, just like so happening to miss. It's always the middle right here, like the top of my head, or just right below that. That part always like laughs at me, because I will miss it every now and then and be out here looking like a checkerboard. Like, we're not doing that. And it is a pain to look back at it after you done spent all that time processing it, and then you just got that one spot that's like, heh. So just do yourself a favor. If you have to, like if it's your first time, I would say move quickly, but also make sure that you are checking your head from every angle, so that way you're not missing any spots. I have a lot of baby hair, I have a lot of neck hair, and I have sideburns. So that is another thing that you do not want to miss. You want to get as far down where your sideburns are if you are going blonde, because you don't want to have a certain cutoff spot where you have the blonde and then you still have like darker sideburns. And the same for your neck hair. My neck hair tends to lay almost damn near making like a connect right here to my sideburns. So I have to be very generous around my neck area. I'll put it on the back behind the ear, and I'll put it as far down on the neck as I can, just to avoid any hairs out of place. I don't need it to look like I got a blonde lineup. Another thing, you do want to work very fast. You want to work as quickly as you can, but also as swiftly as you can. You want to work quickly while also making sure you're not being messy or careless. So when you've done it as many times as I have, at this point, I could probably just grab a brush in my sleep and sit there and go through the motions of like bleaching this bald head. So it's nothing for me, but I want you guys at home who are considering doing it yourself, just tread lightly, man. That's not even my first choice to recommend someone who is not a professional to do their own hair at home. Them DIYs be having, you know, people out here looking crazy. I know y'all done seen Brad Mondo looking at other people who have like done miraculous things at home, but that does not apply to the general public. You are watching one person do something that just so happened to work out, like they got lucky. But if you go to a professional, you go to someone that you trust, you go to someone who is credible, and you get your hair done, I would much rather you guys be, I guess, satisfied. I would much rather you guys be satisfied going to a professional, knowing that there's an exchange of understanding, and they're able to take care of you and give you what you want as well, without going through the possibility of, will this turn out the way I want it to? So we have now completed step 1, the lifting process, and I am at about a 9, a solid 9, which is light blonde but yellow. 10 is like pale blonde, but we are at a 9, and I'm okay with that. I don't want to go to a 10 just yet. And typically using a purple shampoo can give the impression that you're at a 9, 10. It'll cancel out the yellow and give it more of a neutral kind of cool tone hue. So that's what I'm about to go do. Stay tuned. You can see my tattoo so much better. I'm so happy. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ooh, it's complete. So I did my makeup and I'm very pleased with the results. It's still not like white, and that's because I just didn't put the purple shampoo on that long. But even still, you can always reapply. You can use a toner. I just did not really feel like going through that process yet, because I'm going to enjoy the shade of blonde that it is now. But I feel good. I'm glad that I got to share this with you guys. And now you know my little recipe, my secret to doing the platinum blonde, the very light blonde. I look like a little baby doll. I feel like a baby doll. Going blonde, it's really nothing major. Just don't scratch your scalp. Don't put a relaxer over it or a perm over the bleached hair, and vice versa. Don't do it, just don't. And just make sure that you're checking on it while it's processing. Don't process for too long or too little, because then you'll have to do it again. But other than that, you guys, that's about it. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I love you. Bye.